All right, so on the line with me is Rubidiri Victor, the president of the Artists Coalition of Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning, Rubidiri.
Hi guys, hi Trinidad and Tobago. How y'all going?
So far, so good. You tell me, how was the budget treating the creative sector in Trinidad and Tobago, in your opinion?
We get rough up.
Why you say that?
Get rough up. We get rough up. Given the state of the sector, and what was there in the budget, what we presented to ministers for like months ago, and we let them know exactly what was happening and what we needed, and we were very very granular detail in terms of what is necessary. I don't think there was not really nothing really from what we, and the sector is in a serious crisis, and what is there in the budget is not going to be that crisis. And so we are on our own, and I sent out a call to the sector that this next phase, for us to survive this next phase, the sector is moving to a cooperative mode where we have to hub together, to have some to create the products and the institution, the things are necessary to move us forward and to survive this period here. But the budget is not going to do that for us.
But it has not been the story of the creative sector of all time, having to come together, work together to get through and innovate. Whatever the time has been, has that not been what's been happening?
See this. Yes, I mean, we've been under pressure, and those kinds of stuff, and those kinds of things. But this is an unprecedented period for the globe. And for everybody, and for the creative sector. Right now, the musicians in UK are marching around Parliament. Every day I'm bombarded by emails and stuff from artists from around the world, from Germany, from the US, from Australia, from all kinds of spaces and that kind of stuff, in terms of their political action and their actions and that kind of stuff, because of how dire the thing is. The thing to remember is that a huge performance is, right? It requires the mass assembly of people, right? Whether it be visual artists who have shows in museums and galleries, whether it be musicians who, especially because of the new media in the last 20 years, where there's no income coming in from sale of things like CDs and stuff, everything has moved online and piracy and that kind of stuff. So live performances now become the thing to receive income. So musicians, theater people, all the performance-based people and those kind of things, that requires Trinidad and Tobago is a festival-based economy. We go through cycles of festivals. There'd be Diwali, Eid, Carnival, Shout, Spiritual Baptists, all these things, and all kinds of cultural things associated around each of the festivals and things, and that's where people earn income. That's where people do work and those things. None of those things could happen. So it means for the last 8 months, all the performance-based people, there is nothing happening. So people have not received income in that period. In the next 8 months, there's no perceivable relief for that, right? It's dire. It's very, very, very serious. People have rent, people have houses, they have mortgages, they have children, they have concerns, they have the normal things of normal people. It means that artists are looking for sure, at least a year and a half of no income, right? A year and a half of no income. We saw recently the situation with Errol, Fabian, and that kind of stuff. We will be looking at a lot more of those kinds of things happening, So what we required from this budget was innovation. And we always were 50 to 70 years behind the rest of the planet in terms of our government's creation of the enabling environment for the creative sector. So the normal legislation, policy, and institutions that exist in most parts of the world who are serious, we don't have in place,
But
right?
Rubidiri,
We
they
don't
were
have
in
our
the
local content quotas in place. We don't
in the
have
budget.
our
They spoke to the
heritage
local
and
content quotas,
institutional.
Rubidiri, and they said that they were going to implement
But
the
they didn't
local
speak to
content
quotas. They
quotas.
didn't speak to quotas.
What did they
They
speak?
didn't speak to quotas. They
Local
said that
content.
they will have discussions with they will have discussions with stations and that kind of stuff as regards setting requirements. Right? It is probably around more station and that kind of stuff. Local content quotas are um, exactly what it says. It is legislation. It is punitive, right? It
We
is like
also
you don't
saw,
meet your quotas for today.
yeah. We also saw, Rubidiri, that at the beginning of but the same day that the budget was read, they also laid it down in court the creative sector policy. They changed it from a white
Cultural
paper.
policy,
Yeah,
the
the
cultural
cultural
policy.
policy. Is that going to be able to help put some of the
Yeah.
legislation that you want in place?
No, the cultural policy doesn't put legislation in place. It's a good thing that the cultural policy is finally here. We fought for that for the last 20 years, and we kind of helped push that through. The thing is that well, I don't know if it's there anymore. There used to be literally tens of millions of dollars of international funding that was in place only if you had a national cultural policy, right? That was available at UNESCO and other international agency level.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that money is there anymore. One of the reasons why we were battling for the cultural policy was to be able to access free grant money internationally that would alleviate the strain
Government.
on local coffers, and I can first be able to do that. So we have to check to see if
Yeah.
that money is still available internationally.
Somebody asked me a very interesting
And
question, Rubidiri. They were asking, how much money do you think the creative sector needs to get the investment that's required? If you had to give a figure, what would that figure be that you think needs to be invested into the creative sector?
we needed about, I'd say, anywhere between 600 million to $800 million to be able to put things where it was, to put kind of grounds and stuff that we wanted. The thing is that we wanted to put 25,000 people to work immediately, and we wanted to be able to generate between 1 to 1.5 billion dollars in forex in the next year for the country.
How?
That was what the projects that we had would have enabled that. So it enabled us to do that because of the loss of the physical carnival, which generates over 650 million for the country. Because we had no physical carnival, we were putting things in place so that we would be able to generate that kind of income for the country and put people to work. Right? Most of the sector are working class people. A lot of people feel that the sector is a whole set of Range Rover driving people. Most of the sector working class people, and
Rubidiri,
we need to
the
put people to work.
you said just now that
We're going into a period where
in this time here especially we are facing a crisis whereby we're going to lose a lot of money based on not having physical events, not having festivals, and you were concerned about going online with regards to piracy and the loss of sales of things like CDs, as what you said before. But we also see that there's a huge economy of streaming, and we know that it's not equivalent to doing live performances in terms of the amount of money that's going to be garnered. But if you have the world as your stage and the world as your oyster, and we go online, like you're suggesting to do with Carnival, if we were to take Carnival online and generate income, can't artists do that same thing to be able to generate income?
Right. So the things that we sent to government was precisely that. We said that there would be two different targets for the sector. The first was the virtual carnival, and we saw the virtual carnival not just as the launch of of keeping the carnival around and that kind of stuff. It really was the launch of Trinidad and Tobago's virtual economy. So it was for all business in Trinidad and Tobago. It was to get the entire creative sector getting all their products and stuff online, but also in getting manufacturing, service industries, banking industry, everybody, to get everybody online and to ramp up the entire economy for Carnival, because we're going to lose 55,000 visitors, but our thing was to target 55 million international, using our international celebrities, the Laras, Nicki Minaj's, the Winston Dukes, the everybody. And the fact that we are 300 Trinidad style carnivals all over the world, and they're all going to tune in. Everybody's tuning in to see what Trinidad and Tobago is going to do. And we were going to use that plus information that we've been getting from Notting Hill and the executive people at Notting Hill Carnival. We're going to use all that information to be able to do that. But to do that, you have to invest, right? There are tens of thousands of people that are involved in the normal carnival. The normal carnival doesn't just pop up out of thin air. There are producers and stuff who are supposed to be doing work right now, king and queen people. Are they going to invest tens of thousands of dollars in creating costumes just like that if they don't know there's a carnival around? If the PM saying no carnival and the chairman say no virtual carnival, a king and queen costume doesn't appear out of thin air in a month. Neither does a traditional mass costume. People need clarity and kind of stuff to say going to happen. There are savings of over $100 million with no carnival infrastructure to go up, because everybody thinks that pantry go and two could get money and is the money stuff. $350 million that is spent of carnival. Most of that money goes to contracts like porta potty rentals and tent rentals and stuff. Contracts $30 million, $45 million contracts. That's where the money goes. Money for the boys. The creatives get very little money from the carnival money, about 30 million or less, right? But that means that we can now put that money into, let's say, having the king and queen costume competition, and make sure that everybody gets money, right? All participants get money, and the prize money is still there, and everything is locked in. And then we can do all kinds of to make the intelligent for the virtual carnival, right? Get phones to all the youths in the areas of those things. Let them shoot the costume from beginning to end and create documentaries, 3-minute documentaries before, and then the costume dances in the mass camps and in the communities and those things. That is a totally different experience of King and Queen thing, and then it's voted on internationally. Millions of people around the world.
My challenge with that, Rubidiri, is that in the budget they also took away some of that money that would have gone to Pantrimbago and to NCC. Some of that $50 million you're talking about has been released.
Yeah, there's only something $1 million now for the carnival.
Exactly, but
there's only something $1 million.
However, they have been putting money into the discussion of digitalization and heritage preservation, especially when it comes to the creative sector. So maybe we can find ways for the entire, that same project you're talking about is definitely heritage preservation, because that is what we do, right? Traditional mass is what we do. It's a part of our heritage. So maybe, as usual, the artists are going to have to find creative ways to be able to benefit from what has been offered in the budget. Right. While it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, I think that artists tend to bounce back, and maybe that's the downfall of the industry, is that we kind of just bounce back with whatever happened. But either way, I want to thank you very much for joining me this morning, Rubidiri, to talk about it a little bit, and we will continue this conversation.
Last thing.
Yeah, talk to me.
We have the other platform that we're trying to get something called the library. We want to create a full set of music, television, film, video game, and online content for July, called the July generation. New stuff, brand new stuff, and those kinds of things, animation, movies, television shows, all those kinds of things. And so we are mobilizing the sectors to create these cartoons and children's stuff. All of this is pitched to online streaming content, premium online streaming content platforms. And that's the thing that we want to do. And that moves the entire theater industry, the fashion industry, all the different industries. We're moving towards that, creating this new generation of music and all this stuff for the international market for July. That requires investment and those things. Right now, the entire sector has to move into cooperative mode for that to happen, so that we have to barter talent amongst one another and work free and all those kinds of things to make that happen. Ideally, we should have some investment going into that. And
Nice.
that's the next mode, is to create generation, new generation Trinidad to big online content, premium online content, movies, cartoons, video games, and those kinds of things for
Yeah.
July. It's called the July generation, and that's after the virtual carnival. That's the next thing that
All
the
right,
sector is
fantastic.
moving for.
Well, thank you very much, Ruby, for joining us this morning and chatting about this and analyzing the budget a little bit. We will continue doing so throughout the morning and throughout the entire week. This is the Now Morning Show. Ruby Victor is the president of the Artists Coalition of Trinidad and Tobago. Sorry, I forgot to mention that in closing. We'll be right back after this short break.